Hello everyone, welcome to Throwback Thursday. I know I didn't do one last week, me so sorry. But let's just get on with it. And special thanks to Windows Update. Windows Update, you so screwed me over that you threw everything I had an idea about in the toilet. So what I was going to do today was just some 5 things, plus a little other stuff, of either continuity, troublesome issues, along with some other stuff. I think I remember most of them, but if I do forget some, just know, freaking Windows Update, thank you for deleting my notepad notes. Thank you so much. You could have just waited. Yeah, you could have just waited. You piece of trash. But anyways, let's get to it. So number one was Marge. Deal with Marge. So with Marge, you basically have two things here. Number one, we're going to deal with her necklace. So we know way back in the old days, which it could have been the same episode where she actually inherits some potato chips that looks like famous celebrities. And in this one, we actually find out that Marge has like a big ball of pearls, and that was actually given to her from her family. So that's how she got her pearls. Then we find out when Marge wanted another baby that Homer went to a sperm bank and donated so much contributions that he got a car and he actually bought her that necklace. So yeah, here's our continuity issue. It's either A, you could believe Homer bought her that necklace, or B, that her family actually has bunches of those necklaces, and when she loses one, she can actually just go in the drawer and get another one out. Alright, next up is dealing with another episode that was on yesterday, and this deals with the basement. So in the basement, it was used for so many things, and here's just a little list of the things that were used for, and also the secret room, which that's the continuity issue here. But anyways, what you guys know about the basement is, number one, the basement was used for Homer's bootlegging operation when alcohol was illegal, deemed illegal in their city. Another one is that he actually used it as a lair for the Pie Man, of course. He also used it for third room, a guest room. That's where Abe. You jerk, shit up. That's where Abe actually lived for like one episode, maybe even a few more episodes than that. Also, that's where Bender is actually in, which that's another continuity issue, is the fact of Bender technically should be in there somewhere. And of course, we're going to deal with the secret room. So the secret room, number one, when we first kind of heard the secret room, which of course, I need to put a disclaimer, is that there might be something I missed. There might be more times where that is secret room. But what I can recall without having to actually do any research is that number one, the secret room was used for Homer's secret jerky operation, where he was actually making his own beef jerky, and he has so many flavors that he created. And that was just a place where he actually had his meat locker, along with letting stomach, come on, where he actually allowed the beef jerky to hang and get hard so it can actually be good, delicious jerky. In later years, it turned out that that secret room disappeared, and then it came up again because apparently all the dust was settled all over it, and it turned out to be a sauna, which, there's your continuity issue right there. There's your continuity issue. Next up is Abe Simpson. This one has to do with Abe Simpson, but this is not continuity issue. Instead, this is just a nice little info of who he married to throughout the whole entire his lifespan. So besides having affairs, and he had Zelda, who actually was a hoochie, it turns out that Abe got married 3 times, but we never actually heard of him actually getting a divorce. So when it came to Mona, aka Sunny, they married, and of course with Sunny, it turns out that we should have actually saw that coming, that she was going to leave him when the hippie movement happened. But anyways, yeah, so yeah, it's Sunny, and eventually, I guess 12 years old, maybe 6 years old, I don't know, she left him. And then after that happened, Rita LaFleur came. And Rita LaFleur actually was there at the bar that Abe was working at, and they decided to team up. Then later they got married at a... They got hitched, actually. So as soon as they got hitched, and then it lasted for 1 week because she actually got a gig overseas. And because of Homer, he couldn't leave. He couldn't make Homer actually go with him, because if he did, well, guess what? Because Homer enjoyed actually licking and getting shocked by sockets, they were going to Europe, which that had a little bit more power to it, and he was actually fearful of what could happen if he gets electrocuted. So that's when they basically had to break up and maybe got a divorce. I'm not sure. So the third time was actually with Selma Bouvier, which does equal to a grossness of ew. Selma's actually now Homer's stepmom. Ew. And it's like, yeah, interconnected now. It's like, oh. But of course that didn't last long because Abe was actually just too old for things. Yeah, he's just too old, and that's just what happened with him. Alright, next up is Bart and how he became evil. There's two methods to this. I think there's even more, but it's just two methods to it. Number one is the fact of Marge said it must have been that drop of champagne they had. They actually attended a ship farewell thing. Their ship was actually going, and the captain broke the glass of champagne, and while Marge had her mouth open, a drop of champagne went inside her mouth, and that tainted Bart, turning him evil. Another thing is just the fact of where Bart actually, well, it's either Bart liked rock and roll and he influenced his mom to listen to it to help him, or just the fact that Marge just had a hankering to listen to rock and roll, and that changed Bart. Yeah. So there you go. It might be more things, but that's all I can remember. And of course, for funny thing, Treehouse of Horror basically just said he turned evil because he was a twin, and he had the evil twin, he had the good twin, and Hugo was the good one, and Bart was the bad one. So there you go. On Treehouse of Horror terms. Next up, why don't we talk about Treehouse of Horror, aka their sitting room, because they have a living room or TV room. So I guess that's the TV room that they're always in, and then you have the living room. So with that, you basically have, let's see, you basically have that bookshelf that used to be there, and then it disappeared. Yeah, they got rid of all the books in the bookshelf. And in that bookshelf, technically, they actually had that secret third dimension opening, but that was only in Treehouse of Horror, of course. That was missing. They don't have fish anymore. That's kind of sad. Yeah, so no more fish, and I think that's... Oh, yeah, they usually have a piano in there as well, but sometimes you see the piano, sometimes you don't see the piano. I think that's about all that really is needed to be told. I think the fire... I think the, what was it called? The chimney, yes. I think the chimney usually is always there, so that's about it. That's about everything I need to say. So there we go. That's basically all about that one. And last but not least is, I forgot to talk about Marge. This is the second part of Marge, is Marge and the painting that's in the sitting room, the living room / TV room. So in that, you basically have that always picture of the boat, right? There's one episode that Marge said she actually painted it, and there's another episode where she actually there's a secret closet apparently, and in the secret closet, you actually have more and more and more of the painting of the boat painting. So that's kind of cool. And last but not least, apparently it's engraved, and underneath it actually says a scene from Moby Dick. So there is a lot of things about that painting. Maybe Marge painted it so much, and then she actually painted it, got inspired by reading Moby Dick. I guess. There you go. I guess that works. Another thing to talk about is that closet that we sometimes see but don't see. there's this closet where it's filled with lots of stuff. Actually, it's filled with lots of souvenirs along with board games and such. So we don't really get to see that at all, or at least where it actually is. We just know that it's available, and it could be upstairs or it could be somewhere. Sometimes it's easy to figure out the Simpsons house, and then sometimes they rearrange it for their own good and decency, which sometimes is just not that fun. Well, anyways, I think that's about everything that needs to be told, and I guess two bonus things is number one, you have Maggie who actually said three things. Yes, you have Maggie who actually said three first words, and then in one story, she actually had a big speech, and apparently, I think the person who actually voiced her for the speech is Jodie Foster. Anyways, the first ever word she ever said was Daddy. The second word that she said was sequel. And the third one is yeah, 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 yeah. So there you go. There is her three first words that she ever said. That's about it. Second is crap. I just had it a minute ago of a good one and I kind of forgot. Oh yes, the origin of Mo. Kind of weird. I mean, you first have Mo basically living with the swamp people, not swamp people, sorry, living with Yetis, and it turned out he's just a Yeti, a hairless Yeti. And then you have another one where he's a normal person, but he was born with a tail. Yeah, you got lots of continuities there, and there's so much more that I could talk about Mo. But thanks to Windows Update, I can't actually tell you because, well, Windows Update is a big fat jerk, and of course I could go online and check it out, but I rather sometimes actually just go off script, even though I actually did kind of have like some notes, but Windows Update! And just basically be able to tell you guys some stuff that I actually know from up here. But anyways, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more Throwback Thursdays. If you guys have any requests, I am gladly able to hear and will do them. All I'm just asking is don't do any of them where it's like, talk about the main characters, talk about Homer. I will talk about them as soon as I can. For right now, I would love to just basically dedicate to some oddities along with the oddballs and all the others that actually show up on Simpsons Tap Out. Chances are, next up will be the girl that used to be next door to the lady, and her daughter used to be next door to Bart and Homer and everyone. But then apparently the house became very vacant, and yeah, became vacant, and then all of a sudden a cousin of Flanders moved in, and then someone else. Yeah, it's a crazy thing that happened with the house next door. You don't really get a constant mover in. Even Sideshow Bob actually was their neighbor at one point. So yeah, you don't really get to have a constant who's next door to Homer to the right, because it's never concrete. But anyways, thank you for watching, and have a great Thursday and a great weekend. I know I will.